you actually have something you can go back to. So that's why we make recordings. And it also saves you the trouble of having to look for me wherever I am, asking me questions. So that's one resource which we have. Video recordings of previous lectures. Okay, are we clear? We are going to upload links of these video recordings, whether they're on Google Drive or on YouTube.
Yes.
They will be uploaded to Moodle so that you can actually go back and rewatch the videos if there's something you've forgotten. The other thing is the name of the course, Computational Physics. This means that we have to use computers to actually do the physics. In the sense that we have to program computers. You have to write computer programs which actually work out mathematics things or physics things so that you can actually do your physics. Most of the focus of the course is on mathematics. There is certain mathematics which you can do using a computer, and that's what we're going to focus on. But for that to happen, I take it every student who comes into this course, for that to happen, maybe you took a computer course somewhere, I don't know, but I make the safe assumption that you do not know how to program a computer. That is the assumption I make. Am I correct in assuming like that?
Very correct.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So which means that you are basically starting from scratch. Now, starting from scratch is quite challenging, but it takes time. It will take some time, and we have to walk you through the steps of how computers work. Not exactly how to watch a movie or how to use Facebook. No. My focus is on how to program a computer so that you can actually start doing things with it. Okay? The exam is at the end of the year. So I will spend from today, hopefully up to the next 3 months. Are we clear? From today, hopefully up to the next 3 months, teaching you how to program computers. Once we have covered the necessary topics, as you can see in your Moodle here, there are a bunch of topics which have to do with computer programming. So once we have covered these materials, how do we do this, how do we do that, all these things. Once we have covered these, and as long as you attend class, then as I'm explaining, you ask questions, then we move bit by bit, because the issue is this is new information, okay? So if I flood you with a lot of information, there's going to be confusion, there's going to be chaos, and you will not understand anything on how to do anything. So which means at the end of the day, you will be stuck. That is not what we want. We want you to understand how to do things. Because guess what? By the time you are done with this course, we will expect you to take part in competitions, in computer hacking competitions. There are these hacking competitions which happen around the world, online. So UNZA, especially the Department of Physics, since they're physics competitions, it's not just computer science people, but these are competitions, hackathons which take place, and they require physicists, and I can't take part in that. So I have to teach you how to check, how to program computers, because these are competitions for young people like you. So you will compete with other young people around the world, trying to carry out some tasks. Okay? So you are not just doing this for passing the course. No, 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 no. You're also doing this course so that you get some skill, so that by the time you're done with our course, at least you are some kind of a computer programmer person. You can program computers. You can sit down and program a computer to do some stuff. Are we clear? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So you are not in the course just because you want to pass. No, 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 no. And that's why I am spending the first 3 months teaching you how to program the computer in a language called Python. The reason why we chose this language is, first of all, it's easier to use, and scientists use this language a lot. When you're doing science, when you're doing physics, all sorts of different types of physics, and other people, they use this language a lot. It's a very popular language. It's easy to learn. So it's easy to learn even for people who have never programmed computers before. But you have to learn in an organized way. And that's what I'm going to do. I have the thing of trying to teach computers to people who absolutely don't know. So I have to teach you how to program a computer in 3 months. So for each week, we meet for 3 to 4 hours, like that. Then at the end of 3 months, I try to see if we have succeeded in putting some of this computer scientist business in your head, so that you can think like those guys, and not just that, so that you can actually start solving physics problems, so that you can start telling your computer exactly what you want it to do. Because most of the time, really, the way you use a computer is not how you want to use it, but some people wrote computer programs which make you use your computer that way. So we want to give you this ability so that you can do our course, this mathematics course. And it turns out, in this world where we are living these days, the ability to program computers is quite valuable. Okay, it can open all sorts of doors when it comes to your future, careers, and also work. There is a difference when you can tell people, you go for an interview, say, oh, I also know how to program a computer. They give you a computer, then you start doing your stuff. Are we clear? So the first part of this course,
Yes, sir.
is me teaching you how to program computers, and you asking questions. This, I have not understood this, I haven't understood this, I haven't understood this. You do not be shy, because if you are shy, you're pretending that you're understanding when you're not understanding. After 3 months, when you're done with the 3 months, I will expect you people to start sorting out these things. I'll no longer be teaching the programming thing. I'll now be teaching mathematics. And that mathematics has to be done using computers. Are we clear? Be teaching mathematics, and we do physics stuff. As you are aware, it's impossible to do physics without mathematics. But at the same time, in this course, we want to add another layer. We bring in computers. So we are not really interested in you. Yes, you have to write your exam on paper at the end of the year, fine. But the other big part of this course is we want you to learn and solve problems using your computer by programming them. As you can see on this page, under the announcement, there are a lot of books on Python. The first one, Think Python, How to Think Like a Computer Scientist. There's another one here, the second one, a Python book, Beginning Python, Advanced Python, Python Exercises. The other one, Introduction to Python for Computational Sciences and Engineering. This other one, learning to program with Python. The other one, the quick Python book. The other one, numerical methods in engineering with Python. This is a paper. Then this other one, a crash course, Python crash course, a hands-on project-based introduction to programming. This other one, computational physics with Python, introduction to Python for econometrics, statistics, and data analysis. A premiere of scientific programming with Python, Python programming fundamentals, Python for probability statistics, machine learning. Then this is astronomical data analysis for Python, programming for computation, a gentle introduction to numerical simulation with Python, advanced guide to Python programming, a beginner's guide to Python programming. So basically all these books which we have here, it's either a book which talks about the Python language or how we use it, whether you're doing numerical stuff and we are doing simulations. We are going to be using Python. So this Python is the tool we're going to be using. There is no running away from it, okay? You can't hide. This is the tool we are going to be using for our studies. Since it is so important to the course, that is the reason why we are going to spend a quarter of our time or a third of our time learning how to do this Python business. Are we clear? By the time you come back in campus, I don't know when you're coming back in campus, I'm sure I would have made some progress, okay? So yeah. So we are going to spend basically a good amount of our time learning how to program. I hope you're going to enjoy it, because once you understand exactly how a computer works in terms of programming the computer, then things will be much, much easier. Okay. So as you can see, these are our links here in Moodle. So we'll meet 3 times in a week. This 3 times in a week represents about 4 hours. It represents about 4 hours. That 3 times in a week. So if each week we have 4 hours, then times 4 weeks, that is 16 hours. Then in 3 months' time, we should have access to 48 hours. In 48 hours, we should be able to do all these things. This chapter 1 for Python, chapter 2 Python lists, chapter 3 Python tuples, chapter 4 Python sets, Python dictionaries, Python strings, Python functions, Python methods, Python modules and packages, conditional tests and control flow in Python, how to carry out repetitions in Python, file handling, handling exceptions and assertions, introduction to object-oriented programming in Python, introduction to numerical computing with NumPy module, introduction to data visualization with Matplotlib, introduction to scientific computing with SciPy. Once we reach here at the end of 3 months, then I'm sure then I will know that you are ready to start. Then we'll start with the mathematics. Are we clear? These books are not here for Madeco.
Yes, sir.
These books are not there for Madeco. So you need to download those books. Then you pick a book. You start reading, especially right now, focus on a book for Python. Choose any book, okay? You choose a book, then you start reading. There are some things you might understand, some things you might not understand, but as we explain week after week, okay, things will start to make sense. Are we clear? Things will start to make sense. Slowly, slowly, your mind and your brain will get used to this way of thinking, and by the time we are done with 3 months,
Yes, sir.
things will be good. For the time being, because each and every one of us is somewhere else, and we cannot meet physically, okay? We also, apart from Moodle, then Google Meets, we will also be using another online tool. Can you see my screen? I've moved my screen to something called Google. We'll also be using another online tool. So there will be Moodle, that's why we'll keep our stuff. Then there is the Meet, Google Meet, that's what we're going to use for our meetings. There is also YouTube, that's where I'll post some of my recorded videos. Some of them are going to go into Google Drive, so put the links to the same videos. There is also this thing which I'm about to show you, something called Google Colab. Google Colab is a programming thing for Python based online. So in this case, as long as you have got a Kawaya computer which can connect to the internet, that's fine. Because the only thing you need to do is you type Google Colab like that, the way I've done here. Have you seen what I've typed? Have you seen this? I've typed Google Colab in the search engine.
Yes, sir.
Yes, so you type Google Colab in the search engine, then you press enter. So it's going to bring up some results. So we're going to use this tool called Google Colab for us to carry out our programming stuff. Okay, so the result comes there. What's going on? Okay, so I'll click here on Google Colab. So this thing comes up. Okay, so when this thing comes up, it says examples, recent, Google Drive, GitHub, upload, and stuff like that. That's not really a concern, but we want to create something called a new notebook. So I'll click on new notebook here. So when I click on new notebook, something is going to happen. We'll have a bit of a blank thing. So yeah, it refreshes a bit. After I click on new notebook, then something is going to come up. This service is provided by Google for people to do research which involves computer programming with Python in a collaborative way, so that you can be sharing how to do the computer programming stuff. Okay. There are other ways of doing this thing where you can install a piece of software called Anaconda, but from my experience with different people taking the course trying to install software, usually the installations do not go very well. Some people succeed, but other people don't succeed, and when they don't succeed, we run into all sorts of problems. So with this Colab, you don't have to install anything. The only thing you need is a working computer, and on that computer there has to be this thing, Google Chrome. So you have to have a browser called Google Chrome, and as you can see, it has opened up something. So this is the environment we're going to use to do our programming. Something called Untitled.ipynb. So this ipynb is what is known as an interactive Python notebook. The I here, in this title I, this thing here, the I stands for interactive, the PY stands for Python, NB stands for notebook. These notebooks are basically what I would call digital textbook, digital exercise books, where an exercise book where you write notes, maybe a paragraph, then you do it like when you're doing mathematics or physics. You write some paragraph, maybe one paragraph, two paragraphs, then you write some calculations. So we can do the same thing here. You write some bit of text. If you want to write text, you click on this button here where it says text. So there you can add some text. You type this is a Python notebook. So you type some text. Once you are ready with the text, you close there. So you have typed something there. Okay, So this is some notes. You have lines you can use for text. You also have lines like this one you use for something called code. Now this code is Python code. Are we clear? This code is Python code. And of course, if we want this thing to work, there's this thing here where it says connect here. I hope you can see it. So there is here where it says connect. So what you're going to do is when you connect, you're connecting your browser to Google, a computer which is run by Google. So Google is going to give you a bit of computer space, RAM, and also memory so that you can do your computer programming. So right now, let's just wait a bit. Google is going to assign us some space. So it doesn't matter whether your computer is very slow or your computer is very old. As long as your computer has access to the internet, then you're using this, you have got Chrome in it, you can have access to very high quality computing power. This is something called cloud computing. Have you ever heard of it? Something called cloud computing. Hello? Okay, so we are connected. Then as you can see, from the connected, it says connected to Python 3 Google Computer Engine backend. How much RAM have you been given? RAM we are using currently, we are using 0.79 GB out of 12.75 GB. The disk space we are using currently is 38.25. That is me out of 107 or 8 GB. So Google gives you a computer. Google gives you a computer for you to use which has RAM up to 13 GB. That's a very, very fast computer. And also they give you a disk space of 108 for you to use for your computer programming thing. Are we clear? Hello? Mwape and Rod, are we clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so basically, as you can see, we have been assigned space, RAM and disk space in a cloud computer which is owned by Google for us to use for our thing, our computational physics stuff. That is what we're going to be doing, okay? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pick one of the notebooks which I have on my computer. Then I'm going to upload it to this thing here, this Colab, so that we can see what it is we are going to be doing. So I'll click on File. Then if your notebook is on the Google Drive, then you can say Google Drive. But what I want to do is I want to upload the notebook. So I want to upload. So when I say upload there, then this thing comes up. And you can see this is similar to what we had at first. So examples, recent, Google Drive, GitHub, and upload. So I click on choose file, the file I want to upload. Then I look on my computer where that particular file is. University of Zambia, PHY, that, Jupyter Notebooks. So the one I'm looking for is this one. PHY 3032 Chapter 1 Introduction to Python 3 Fundamentals. So I open that. So I have these things on my computer. You have the same files but on Moodle. So if you want to download one on Moodle, again I will show how you do that. If you want to download your own copy of the file on Moodle, again we'll go to Moodle and show how this is done. So right now, that copy which I have is uploading. Okay, so let's just wait a few minutes. Just wait a few minutes. For the upload to happen. So far, do you have any questions?
No question.
Yeah. So we have to teach you how to do this computing thing, this computing business, this programming stuff. When we meet physically, the time when you come into campus, then we meet physically, we will show you how to install some pieces of software which you need to install on your computers, but most of the time you will not. It won't be, you can do the installations, we'll install them, but right now, even this way actually works very, very well. So let's wait it finishes. Okay, so you have seen up here what was there has changed. It was untitled.ip something something in interactive Python notebook. Now the title has changed. Now it says PHY 3032 chapter 1 Introduction to Python 3 Fundamentals. So what you have here is the name of the notebook. Okay, because the notebook has changed, before we had an untitled, now we have a different notebook, has changed. As you can see here, things have changed. Okay, the space we're given by Google has been removed. So we need to connect again. So we reconnect to Google. They are going to give us new space, RAM, and disk space on which to run this notebook. I'll show the mechanic when it connects. I will show the mechanics of how this thing works, how this environment works. Okay? The mechanics of how this environment works, so that unable to connect to the runtime, reconnect. So this side, as you can see, it's like if you have used Microsoft Word or something like that. Let's go. It's refusing to connect. Okay, so there is file here. So there are these options. You can locate a notebook. You can open in playground mode. You can create a new notebook here. You can open a notebook. You can upload a notebook. You can rename a notebook. You can move the notebook to the bin. You can save a copy in Drive. You can save a copy in something called GitHub. You can save a copy on GitHub. You can make a save and pin a revision history. You can download your notebook. You can download only the Python bits. You can update Drive preview. You can also print these there. Then there is edit. You can select something called cells, cut cells, copy cells, paste, delete, find and replace, find next, find previous, notebook settings, and stuff like that. Cells are these lines. These lines. These are what are referred to as cells. So depending on what you're using the line, like the lines in your textbook, your notebook. So depending on what you're using the line, if you're using it for just writing notes, then it's called a text cell. If you're using it for Python code, then it's called a code cell. So let's try to do the same, connecting. Then if you want to view the table of contents, if you notebook information, executed history, and some stuff there. Here, if you want to insert a code cell, a text cell, a section header bar like this, if that's what you want to do, runtime, how you want to execute all the things which are happening here. So when you carry out an instruction, that is called running something. So you want to run them all or before selection, interrupt, factory reset, and stuff like that. We'll see how to do that. Then what other tools? There is a bit of some stuff here. Yeah. Then there is help, how to get help. Then you can add some comments, and you can also share with your friends. So if you are working on something, you can actually share it with your friends. That's where the collaboration comes in, so that both of you, or if you're a team, you can be working on the same project, on the same thing. Are we clear? Okay, so here we are. We have been given some RAM and disk space, so which means we can start.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So here, the first thing is really printing numbers. When it comes to Python, printing numbers. But before I do that, there is a bit of other things which you can do with this notebook, which you cannot do with your normal exercise book. For example, imagine this is what you have written in your exercise book. Okay? You have written all this stuff in your exercise book. You have written already. Now, if you have written stuff in your exercise book, you realize quickly that it's difficult for you to move things around because those things have already been written. Are we clear? If you have written a heading on a particular page, it's difficult for you to move that heading to another page unless maybe you tear the page or something like that. But in this case, when it comes to this notebook things, we can move things around. For example, I click on this. You can see the selection. When I click on something, how things change. Can you see? Are you able to see the effect of me clicking on certain lines? Me selecting certain lines. You follow this. Can you see?
Yep.
Yeah. So, when I click on a certain line, I come up down this side. This is telling me what I can do with this line. Okay, for example here, it says move cell up. I can move the cell up. Okay, this one says move cell down. I can move the cell down. There's also a shortcut key of doing that. Then this one says link cell. Then here add a comment. Then here it says edit. Then here mirror cell into a tab. Then there it says delete. Then more cell actions. The other cell actions are copy cell and cut cell. So for each line in a notebook, when you're using this collaboration thing, there are a number of things you can do. Okay, for example, if I choose this one, right now this is the first line. This being the first line, as you can see there, I can't move it up because it has been graded. The only thing I can do is I can probably move the heading down. If I do that, this is what I get. So it becomes line number 2. The line number 2 becomes line number 1. Are you seeing this? If I move it down again, it becomes line number 3. So I can move lines. I can move lines up and down, which means that allows you to change the arrangement of things in a notebook. You can do that. Or I can move it up. I can move it up again, so it goes back there. So you can see me moving a line of text up and down. You can do the same thing to all these lines you're seeing here. That's where where the beauty of digital comes in. You can move text lines up and down without changing anything. Okay. The other thing, apart from moving these lines of texts up and down, is you can add a comment. If you want to add a comment, maybe you don't like how this thing is, the title, you can click there. Then you add a comment. Say, I do not like this heading. I do not like this heading. Then you probably can change the suggestion. Then you say comment there. So you can see what I've said about this line. Say, I don't like this heading. Okay? So if you do not like this heading, then you can do something about it. If somebody tells you, I don't like the way you've written this, you can do something about that. So that bit, adding comments, is a bit of like the way you comment on your Facebook. Okay? Then there it says resolve a comment. So what are you supposed to do about the comment? Then you attend to it. Okay. Then here there is a pencil. This pencil is edit. When I click on edit, then things change a bit like this. So inside here, this shows how I created this heading. This shows how I created this heading. And the output of this heading, by me doing this is what it looks like. This is the output. So this is me fiddling with things. Print numbers. If I remove something, if I don't, I remove that. If I remove everything like that, I remove that, this is what I end up with. If I'm happy with this, so just these print numbers, this is what I end up with. So you make an edit this side, then the result of your editing is displayed this side. If I am happy with the editing, then I click on the pencil which is crossed out like that. So now it changes to printing numbers like this. Have you seen what I've done? If I'm not happy with what has come up, I can go back to print edit. Then the other things I can do, for example, I can select these texts, then I click on this, make bold. And that's how you make something bold, like that. So you can click on make bold, or you can make this italics, bold and italics. So I will, so how to do the heading stuff, the kind of headings you can have. So if you select this, if you say make italics, so this is what's going to happen. This is the output. So you put, before the heading, you put a star, then you put another star, then your output is going to look like this. If you're happy with this, you click on stop edit, then it comes out like that, printing numbers. You want your notes to look in a certain way, so you do that. If you're still not happy about that, you can remove these stars. You want it to be bold, you make it bold so it looks like this. If you're happy, it comes out that way, printing numbers. If you're not happy, again, you can add something like the way we added something, this and that. It looks, it has a bit of a shade under there. And then if you're happy, then it comes out like that, printing numbers, and it looks different with this than with the other one, because without these two things I've added inside, and that, you see, the printing numbers looks different. The font is different. If I add those things inside, the font also changes just a bit. it looks different like this. Are we clear?
Yes, sir. Continue.
Yeah, this is like the same stuff you do when you're trying to format your Word document, trying to do a title, this, and stuff like that. You can do the same thing here. So again, I go back, I click on that, then I want to do something else, which I want to show just a bit. This. Okay, now I want to remove, you have seen this hash thing here? I want to remove it. When I remove it, then my output changes. It becomes this. Okay, when I remove that hash thing I put in front, the hashtag, then my output changes, becomes this. If I'm happy with that, this is what I end up having. Like that. And that's not what we want, because what we want is to have these printing numbers to be a title for the first title we talk about. So this is not exactly what we want. So we go back and try to change this. Then let's see if we can click there. So if you click on this one, this is for the title. You see it automatically adds the hash there. So without you knowing, by you clicking on this is how you add the title. This is how you make something bold. This is how you make something italic. Then this one here, format as code. Let me see. If you click on that, what happens? Okay, it does that. Then it's formatting like the one which I had. So format as code. Then if you stop, you see it looks like this. It changes. Okay? Are you seeing what's happening?
Yes, sir. What of the stars?
Yeah. That's a good question. What about the stars? If we want to add the stars, or where do you get the stars? So, for example, here, if I say, if I put 1 star, I click on italic here, this is going to add 1 star. It's going to add a star before and a star after. And your result is going to look like this. Italic, like the way you italize text. If on the other hand, that's not what you want to do, but you want to make these texts bold, then you click on bold here. Then you end up having something like this. If you want more than bold, you can find inside here, you want to add those to my things I added. I click inside here. You have seen them? So these to my ones are added from here.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So the bold adds 2 stars. It makes it bold. The italic adds 1 star in front, making it italic. Then this is for adding a link. Okay? For example, if I have a video somewhere after this title, right? If I have a video somewhere on YouTube or somewhere else, if I want to add a link, then I will type after there. So I can go to YouTube, probably find the video. I think I've got videos on YouTube. Let me see. Channel this. For this course, I can look at content. Something which involves this course. Okay, here I can get a link, then come back. Here. So if I need to add a link, I paste that link there. Edit. Controlling. So there is the link. Then, if I'm happy with that, I do that. So there is a link here. So if I click on this link should take me to a YouTube video, if I'm not mistaken, of the same thing I'm talking about. So it should take me to a particular YouTube video, then stuff like that. So basically that's what that does. Yeah, so the YouTube video is about to start. Let's just see if it works, so that we learn how those things, those bits and pieces. Yes, so here, so it's bringing me to a particular YouTube video for that particular link which I got. And as you can see, this is one of our courses. So that's me teaching your other students like that. So basically that's how you add a link. If you don't want to add a link, of course, you remove this bit. There is other things you can add. You want to add an image, you want to indent your texts, you want to number you have a list of things, then you want to number them, then you want to use bullet points, and here you want to a horizontal ruler, then here is what you want to do, position some stuff like that. So basically you can also insert an image, you can indent your text, you can add a numbered list and bullet points. So there's a bunch of things you can actually do in a text cell. This text cell, you can do a lot of things. You can format, you can add a title, you can make it bold, italic, you can add a link to a website, then you can insert a picture, then you can make a numbered list and stuff like that. Are we clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and then if you're not happy with something, of course, you can always delete it. There, you can click on delete, or you can copy and cut it. Okay, so there are two types of cells. There's a text cell, like the one where we're doing this heading stuff. Then there's this other one where I'm adding a sentence, trying to explain how you print something in Python. That is still a text cell. Then there's this other one where I'm adding a bullet point. For example, here, if I want to do a bullet thing here, so I click there. So you see, I get list items, then some bullet stuff. So this is how I create a bullet thing. I can add a star, one star, then whatever comes after that, that's a bullet. Okay, so I can delete that. So here I can say, when you do a one star, you can see you get a bullet. Or when I did that, you do that, you also get a bullet. So just by putting one star there, you get a bullet. Then if you're happy with that, that's fine. You see how it works? You can have a bunch. After that, if you want to add something, another instruction, you add another bullet, so you can produce any amount of formatting you want. So these are that's what you can do with a text cell. These other ones, as you can see, these are different lines because they have got something like play here. Now these ones with the play thing here, again, you can do a bunch of things. You can't do the same things you can do here. If I click here, there is this, you can move it, you can comment, you can do that, yeah, that's some stuff. Same applies to here. But here there is no edit. You can move it up, move it down, you can link it, you can comment. Then here there is open editor settings. Then you can copy, you can delete and stuff. If you click on editor, you have this basically. That's fine. We can close that out. Okay. So this is a code cell. Now this one does something. If I click on this play button here, then it carries out a Python instruction. If I click on the play button there, then it carries out a Python instruction. So this is the instruction and this is the output. So basically it prints out 7 like that. So this is how we run our Python code. Are we clear? So we are going to run our Python code,
Yes, sir.
by clicking on these play things for now, because we are just learning the language. Okay, I think for today, that's enough discussion on the introduction to this, what is it? Google Colab. So basically for now, this is a good introduction to the Google Colab. Unless you have got any questions on how it works. Any questions?
No questions.
Mwape?
No questions, but I just wanted to find out about the Anaconda downloading thing.
Yeah, Anaconda also does the same thing. The only issue I have is if the installations can be done properly, because you're all over the place. Because Anaconda does not require internet connection.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that when it comes to the Anaconda one, we can do it physically when you're in school. We can do the installation physically when you're in school. For now, we have to use this. We'll still be able to learn and see the results of whatever it is we are doing. So
Alright,
that,
sir.
yeah, so that bit is fine. Okay. Any other questions? Mwape?
Okay. For my sake, I don't know, but I managed to install Anaconda.
Yeah, usually it's straightforward.
I have some idea of in your lecture.
Yeah, usually it's straightforward, but there are some people who sometimes, maybe because their computer is too old or something like that. If your computer is modern, it's a new computer, you just recently bought it, usually it's straightforward. Just click next, 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 like that, then it installs. So, yeah. Are we clear? So yeah, most of the time it's just a straightforward, smooth installation. But there are other times when people have problems, maybe because they did something or they wanted to repeat something which they're not, then the things just go to hell. Okay, so our next class is on Friday, 13 to 15. All right, so see you on Friday. Unless you have questions.
Alright, so sure.
Okay, so Friday it is.
No questions.
Okay,
Wow.
see you on Friday then. We have to stop. Okay.